piss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Testicles, 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Paranoid Radio Podcast. I am Trebles Garcia, the humble host of this amazing adventure. I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing episode lined up with so much content. We're dropping content all the way since Monday, featured on K4V3 Podcast. I dropped my live No Monday, no filter Mondays with Organite. I was featured on Deplorable Nation with Deplorable Janet. I dropped the immunity episode with Janet last night, and today, introducing to the stage, episode number 4 this week alone in 3 different platforms. Who the fuck is doing this shit better than us? Please, striking with iron is hot. Allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood. Coming in from the East Coast, the Lion, the destroyer of fantasies, my deep state correspondent, Flash, for Flash_News 1. What's up, Big Flash?
What's up, brother? Reporting for duty. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and also check us out at paranoidradio.com. Cough up some of the t-shirts. There's new t-shirts, and there's also a new facelift for the website, paranoidradio.com. And Flash, let them know where they can find you for the newcomers.
Yeah, man. Still over on Instagram, heavily shadow banned. Flashy_News1 on Instagram, and then Flashy_NewsX on X, and Flashy_Truth on Truth Social. That's backups. That's it.
This episode is coming in with heat, and you're about to dismantle the entire scene with this fuckery, fake hype, hoax shit that's happening around the fucking planet, starting with Flashy Friday and Iranian hoax. What's up, dog?
Right, man. So this is it, bro. We are up against a machine, right? And you got to ask yourself, our enemies are only helping one side, right? Iran, China. China is illegally giving donations through Act Blue to Democrats, right? We all know that. James O'Keefe over at OMG Media has been doing the reporting on that. And now we have Iran running propaganda campaigns in favor of Democrats. So everyone remembers the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and that there were a lot of people pushing out the fact that it was a hoax, or that it was that Trump set the whole thing up, that it was all make-believe, that Trump really never got shot, the guy that didn't actually die, and oh my God, it was all this and that. Yeah, well, that was Iran. Yeah, that was Iran, the state sponsor of terror, who started that whole online hoax. That was their narrative, because they wanted to try to divide our movement, number one, which it happened successfully a little bit. People on our side were even like, oh, I don't know if he got hit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he really got hit.
Yeah, I was on a couple of podcasts last week, and one of the questions was like, even shout outs to Rico from Talking Boosters podcast. He had me on his show. We blew it up on Sunday, and he was like, yo, I got to ask you this question, bro. I haven't heard you talk about this. He was like, yo, like, what happened to his ear? I was like, what? He was like, yeah, his ear there's no sign of anything. I'm like, my only explanation of his ear being healed is he's a super billionaire. He's been in front of the camera all his life. He really worries about his image. Dude, this guy got shot and then worried about his shoes so that they don't catch him slipping without a shoe on camera. Right. He has access to the best plastic surgeons in the world. I mean, wouldn't you want to get your shit fixed, right? So, yeah, so that's what the only explanation I got.
Right. And I mean, and not only that, if it was a hoax, you don't actually take a shot at the principle of the hoax. You wouldn't actually shoot at the person that set the hoax up, just in case you actually might have hit him, right? And no one can deny we saw the bullet in the fucking video of the photographer took this picture of the bullet. We literally saw it. And not that, if you know anything about body language, if you watch Trump's body language, he absolutely was hit by something. You can't just fake that feeling of like, oh my God, like, what the hell was that? And you could see he was actually trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Like, he was actually surprised. You know what I mean? There was no, oh my God, this was supposed to happen moment, or his body wasn't prepared for it in any way, shape, or form. He just happened to look in that direction at that moment. And the ear, it bleeds so much because there's so many veins and things that are going through that part. So it does, just like an earring, it heals really fast. You know what I mean? And there's that video of him actually, you could see the actual bullet hit the ear and put a hole in his ear. and it was really just at the edge of the ear, right at the cartilage. It wasn't really in the lobe or anything. It was really just that little bit of earlobe that you have on the end of the cartilage. So that heals extremely fast. I mean, it just does. And it's already been a month, and it was 2 weeks after he got shot when he took the bandage off. If he was really worried about that, he would have just kept the bandage on. He would have just rocked the bandage and then just been like,
I got to attest to that. I got fucking all my ears pierced and shit. And I know people that have like the bars and shit, and they shit heals within a week. They're already changing their stuff. It heals very fast.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and plus, he was, I'm sure, like you said, he was doing things that were going to be conducive to healing, like plastic surgery. I'm sure putting all sorts of ointments and everything like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't that bad of an injury. I mean, that's just what it comes, thank God, it was just really the tip of his ear, so I think people just didn't see like how crazy the whole situation was. People were like, oh my God, this can't happen. Like, how could this happen? It must have been Trump setting it up. No, how it happened is because the government was involved and they let it happen. That's why it looked so ridiculous, because it was not supposed to happen, and you could just really tell by the body language of everybody there, that shit was real, but, and that's all a sideshow, you know what I mean? That's all a distraction. That's all a way to keep us divided in our own movement, in the truther movement. And so the reason why they found out it was Iran, so an independent computer company that actually looks into this stuff. They're not partisan,
here we
they're
go.
Not Republican, they're not Democrat. They just look into these kinds of things. They determined that the first people that actually pushed this out, the first accounts that really pushed out that it was a hoax, they traced those accounts back to a troll farm in Iran. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you can't make that. You can't fabricate that. That's just what the data shows, right? Just like there's like location data. It's the same exact concept of that. So it's not surprising that happened. You know what I mean? I mean, of course they're going to be pushing out shit like that. Only because
this is the same thing that happens when those people hit you up on Instagram and like, we could get you 5,000 followers for just $3. This is the same type of thing. They really do exist. 100%. They really have real troll farms that are trolling, to have fake accounts that make that shit blow up for you. And you're like, what the fuck? For like $30, you get like 100,000 followers?
Bro, fake they do that accounts. And politically, they're heavy with that in politics now, especially the Kamala Harris campaign. We see that. They're using AI generated fucking shit, and all this fake.
Dude, that is fact. That is fact. Bro, I don't know if we touched this. I wanted to bring this in.
Bro, they're trying to fact check that wasn't true. That those people were actually real at the airplane. We're not talking about every single one of their crowds. I'm saying they had a couple people because they went to a concert and they took it over and pretended it was a political rally. Those crowds, we didn't say that. The ones at the airport in the airplane, that shit was fake as fuck.
I have to tell you something right now. I don't care how smart you think you are. I don't care how passionate you are about this fucking woman. You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. I do every single episode, and I do my own art, and I just recently, just this year, the last 8 months, started using AI as my helper to do the art. And I put it, I know how this fucking AI shit works. I'm an amateur at it, but I've seen it countless fucking times, countless fucking hours during the week as I do all my art. And guess what? That shit's AI, 100%. You can't fuck around with that bullshit. The fingers are all fucked up. The faces are loopy as fuck. The things are misspelled. The letters the fonts are all fucked up. Bro, that's all AI. AI does not make perfect picture. And that's exactly what I put in my format. Make me a realistic, perfect picture image of etc. And that's what it looks like. You can't. It doesn't matter how expensive your AI software is. Suck a taco.
Bro, and you can just tell if you look at the reflection of the airplane. You can see the reflection of the airplane is not showing the same crowd as the crowd. It's a mirror image. You know what I mean? And then not only that, they had what was the other obvious thing? Oh, and then if you zoom in on the people, like because people were holding up their cameras, filming Kamala getting off the plane. If you zoom in, everyone's phone is showing something different. They're not looking at the same thing. It's so out. And then if you look at some of the faces, they're like cross-eyed. One guy's like head is growing out of another person's arm. Like AI hasn't perfected that yet. They make 6 fingers. That's another way to see if the AI is generated. For some reason, the AI and the teeth are always messed up, and there's always 6 fingers on each hand. So there's really just ways to find out.
flashy news flash. The FNF that you dropped, the 7-minute FNF that you dropped last night,
Yeah.
last week, got an art that says fake hype with a crowd of people
Yep.
holding signs that
Yep.
are generated for you.
Yep.
That looks more real than the one that they're using.
Exactly, bro. And that was before this whole shit came out too, which was funny. You put that out, and like literally 10, 20 minutes later, Trump put out that whole truth about how they were faking their crowds.
Dog.
And this is why I say this is man versus the machine. This is our Terminator, right? It's not Terminator like a robot running around, an AI robot. No, it's the machine that we're up against, this propaganda machine, the machine of lies, the machine of picking a candidate and just poof, creating her out of thin air. Like she wasn't the worst politician in the world like 3 weeks ago. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why like everyone has to just chill. Everyone's saying, "Oh my God, Trump needs to change how he's doing his campaign. Oh my God, everything's changed now." Nothing has changed, people. Like that's the thing.
You know who's saying that also? I want to bring this in real quick. Right before we jump into something that you can't fake is the fucking Elon Musk and Trump situation on Twitter. You got to bring that in right now. But check this out. You know what I did notice? There is fucking spies at the rallies, at the Trump rallies, they wait for the people to start walking out, and then they start asking them questions like, "Hey man, he didn't play the hits, huh? Like, what do you mean? He didn't say he was gonna build a wall. He didn't say anything for us, did he? It's kind of boring now, right? It's kind of boring." And those people that are leaving are actually saying, like, "Yeah, well, it's getting a little repetitive. Yeah, it's getting a little boring." But these are the people that are by the door, ready to leave the door because they want to skip traffic. But the real fans are still living the thriller over there in the front. Just because they don't have a black gorillas shaking their asses on stage doesn't mean it's not fun. Like he has exhilarating rallies, bro, which is why the media doesn't want to cover them because it'll give them more glorification.
Absolutely, 100%. And you know what? And those are fucking actors half the time too. Those people that they talk to at the end of the rallies are actually not Trump supporters. You know why? Because you're going to tell me you're going to wait 6.5 hours just to see this man speak. Then once he starts speaking, you're going to leave and act like it was boring. Come on, bro. Nobody's leaving a fucking Trump rally. When Kamala's rally, as soon as she takes the stage, that's when they leave. They all show up to see the ass shaking and the Megan Thee Stallions and the fucking whoever the hell else they got out there, right? But then as soon as Kamala took the stage, they got people on camera leaving. In Las Vegas, she just had a huge rally, right? But it was a concert, and as soon as she got up there, people were like, "All right, I'm out of here. See you. Thanks for the free concert." Like, this shit is so ridiculous. Like, you can't compare the two. You know what I mean? Trump has been selling out
it's
arenas.
too hot. It's too hot. We had to turn away thousands of people at the front door because it's too hot to have them in the way. Shut the fuck up. Shut up,
it's man versus machine right now, bro.
Word.
This is it. And then you know what? We're prepared for this, yo. We have studied. We have prepared our mental acuity and our minds for this moment. We have studied their propaganda. We know the way that they're going to do this, right? The only difference between now and 2020 is a shit ton more people have woken up, but they're the same dog with the same old tricks. They don't know what else to do. So we can't fall into the same trap of, oh my God, the poll. And you know, the fake polls, that's a subject. We'll bring that in real quick. So the fake polls, how they generate these fake polls is they oversample Democrats, right? And if you actually look in the numbers of the polls, they'll tell you that, you know, how many Democrats they asked, how many Republicans, how many independents. Nobody ever looks at those numbers because people are just like, oh, it's a poll. Ever since Kamala became the nominee, they've been oversampling Democrats. So that means that they're asking more Democrats than they are Republicans who they would vote for. Of course, the Democrat's going to vote for Kamala Harris. Like,
they're creating the answer. Yeah, the result.
What we have to look at, the real numbers, is voter registration. Right now in Pennsylvania swing state, it's 4-1 Republicans are outpacing Democrats in new voter registration. Nationwide, we are 5-1 more Republicans are being registered than Democrats. These are the real numbers, right? And then let's bring in Elon Musk and Trump, right? We want to go there with the Twitter.
Here we go. Right? Here we go.
So you want to really know, that's how you really know. 1 billion people tuned in to hear that. A fucking billion people in 12 hours. Are you kidding me? And then if you look at the crosstabs, the numbers, who was really watching, it was overwhelmingly 70% was 19 to 34-year-olds. That is unbelievably huge because the young vote, the Gen, they're coming to our way because they just figured out they can't afford a home. They can't afford groceries. They're not going to be able to live the same American dreams that their parents lived through, right? Owning a home with one family income, you know, low inflation, being able to afford a mortgage. All these things are out of their reach now. And they've been sold a good of lies. That, you know, that this liberal mindset, go to college, take out $100,000 loan, you're going to get the job of your dreams. Meanwhile, half of these dudes are making fucking lattes at Starbucks. with a degree in on arts and literature. What are you going to do with that now?
Yeah.
So
Damn.
they feel wrong, and they absolutely should. And so all these people say, oh, Trump needs to be nicer. Oh, Trump needs to stop saying the word stupid. Listen, how do you think he won in 2016? He got on camera and he told them right to their face, "You're fucking fake news. You're a liar. You're a scumbag." That's how he won. And then in 2020, a lot of the people around him got him to go more towards the middle because they convinced him that that's what the country needed and all this, right? So no, those are the country club Republicans that are telling them that the donor class, right? All these moderates, all these people that are actually Democrats or that are part of the uniparty. They want to see Trump come toward them in the middle. They want to see him picking Nikki Haley as their vice president. That's why him picking JD Vance. People are so mad about that, like the rhinos and the establishment, because they wanted to pick someone like a Rubio or a Tim Scott, someone that's going to swap their whole lives that, everybody favors because so they can control them. Trump said, nah, I'm going to pick the new guy that just got here. That's not a politician either. That's a Marine, okay, and that spits straight facts, knows how
that
to handle
doesn't lie about his military service, by the way, like Waltzy.
Exactly, bro. Right, come on,
Talking about liars, I'm going to take a shot at somebody that told me something about Trump today. And you know what, bro? Even when they asked Trump about the fucking tax cuts, he even said it. He was like, I know for a fact that you wouldn't change the tax code to fucking Hillary Clinton because he takes advantage. He admitted that shit. You can't fucking bullshit a bullshitter. He came with the fucking facts and telling you the truth to his face, regardless of how he looks like, bro. Do you want to keep calling him a liar? Keep calling him a liar, guy. You know
that's
what I'm talking
why
about.
he's a whistleblower. That makes him that example right there is why he's a whistleblower, right? Because he was part of the club. He took advantage of all the systems that they were using, right? He was even donating to
he admitted it.
All of this shit, right? And he not everybody that starts out doesn't start out evil, right? Like all these people like Al Sharpton and all these guys that Trump was actually friends with in the beginning, they just started. They actually started for good. They were actually helping the black community, all these reverends and all these guys that are now pieces of shit that hate Trump. But when they were actually good people, that's when Trump was friends with them because Trump was actually trying to help the black community. Do you know that Donald Trump was giving loans to black Americans in the 1980s when no banks would be giving black Americans loans? He gave them loans to start. It was over 500 people he gave loans to, right? They came back to pay him back. He ripped up the check and said, "You don't owe me a damn thing because what you did was what I wanted."
How many loans to black people has Kamala Harris given out? Or she just pandering?
How many guys has she thrown in jail actually for marijuana charges? Right? Oh yeah, the contrast is so clear. Okay,
she admits that she used to smoke weed.
Come on, bro. They asked her who the greatest living rapper is. She said Tupac. Oh my god.
Tupac was a dancing ballerina gaylord from the East Coast. Also, he wasn't even from West Coast. He's a fucking ballerina dancer. Get the fuck out of here.
Everything is fake and gay. Everything is
fucking gay. Yo, all right. Fear porn. We got fear porn, and we got the CND, the DNC, the convention for the Democrats.
So fear porn. This is actually really important, right? Because we know their games right now. Fear porn is literally all they have left. Specifically, Raskins, who's the Marxist communist congressman, right? Raskins, Jamie Raskins is his name. He was on an interview a couple months ago. And the guy asked him, how are we going to stop Trump, right? What if he wins? Raskin went into this whole thing, right, about how on January 6, 2025, they're not going to seat Trump. They're just going to not seat him. They're just going to deny, even if he wins, democratically wins, right?
I shared that.
I shared that. Him, right? Now, I'm sitting there wondering, if that's true, why the hell would you say that? Why would you tell us that's what you're going to do? Do you know what I mean? And then he said, we're going to create civil war conditions. That's what he said. Right?
Evoke civil war conditions so that they get executive power and emergency powers. Yeah.
Right. Right. And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, if that's what you're really going to do, sometimes they like to tell us what they're going to do. Right. But I was like thinking, actually, to me, that means they're not going to fucking do that. Right. They want us to think they're going to do that. So we just give up. Because I can already see it happening on our side, right? People are like, oh, man, they're just going to steal it again. I'm not even going to vote, bro. They're just going to steal it again. Look, even if he wins, they're not going to see
it. More hopeless.
Did you guys see Raskins? He said it. He said they're not going to see them. And I see people telling people don't even vote. Like, just forget it, man. It's not even worth your time. It's not worth 20 minutes. Bro, so this is what I'm thinking. So they're trying to put it into our psyche that no matter what we do, we're going to lose. Right. And I always say the only way we lose is if we quit or if we get violent. And that is exactly what this side meant. He just told us. He told us, don't even bother fucking voting because we're not going to
Mhm.
see it. And even if you do, we're just going to start a civil war. Right?
That's exactly
But
what he told us. The two things.
the
Yep.
only thing that problem with that is they need us to participate in that. Right. And like I said before, they took the power away from the vice president to actually do what Raskins is talking about. In order to do what Raskins wants, the vice president would have had to have the power to decertify the electors and send them back to the states. The only problem with that is they changed the law that gave the vice president the power to do that. It was the Electoral Count Act of 1876. They changed it after Mike Pence in the whole January 6th fiasco of 2020, right? Because Mike Pence had that power. And the whole argument was that he actually didn't have the power, but he did have it. They found out that he actually did have it. But since they are so eager to just try and change the rules, to try to do something, to try to prove to their base that they're in control, they went and changed the law that gave the vice president the power to actually decertify the electors. So that's why I say this is fear porn, because look, a lot of the shit that they talk about, it's not even, there's no legality to do it, right? And they can only do so many illegal things, right? So this is my prediction right now. If they do that, if they try not to sit Donald Trump on January 6th, that is when the military will get involved in our country, because there's only a couple scenarios where the military can be deployed onto the American soil and used on American citizens. One of those things is a constitutional crisis. Okay, so if Donald Trump wins democratically elected, duly elected president of the United States on November 5th, and January 6th comes along and they refuse to seat him, do you think that's not going to cause any reaction from the United States military? Now, they do a real good job of putting up this facade that the military isn't political and the leaders are this, and they're really not for the most part, right? Except for the leaders of the military, the Pentagon, the TV general, all these people that Donald Trump always talks about that, you can't believe these people. They're fake generals. They're fake generals. They're not the ones actually leading the military, okay? The Pentagon is not actually they are the deep state of the military. They control certain aspects of the military, right? But the rank and file military are absolutely patriots. You don't think these special forces guys know what the hell's going on? All these Army intelligence guys, all these Navy SEALs guys, you don't think they know what the hell's going on in this country? Right? But the only thing is that hammer can't drop until the public opinion is awakened to the moment that we're in. Right. So in 2020, let's just say that hammer dropped. Trump came in with the military. Bro, it would have looked like a military coup. The media would have ran with that and been like, yo, look what he's using the military. We would still be in a civil war right now from that day.
Yeah.
So what? Trump would have stayed the president, but we wouldn't even have a country. We literally would not have our country if Trump stayed in power in 2020. So by letting them steal it, right, and having to swallow that hard pill of these last 4 years, but you know what? We still have a country. We're still all alive. This is the genius of Trump's long thinking, right? Because he knew that the truth is going to come out. So now the public is fully aware. This country is not going to stand for another stolen election, especially after what they just did, sneaking in Kamala Harris, pulling Biden. They are being exposed for the non-democratic party that they are. And you know what? It had to be this way. So if they try to do that shit on January 6th, I stand here right now firmly believing, and I would bet my house, that the hammer's going to drop, the military's going to get involved, and these scumbags are going to jail.
Holy fuck. Holy shit. Jump onto the CDC. We got a few minutes here too, bro. The convention for these Democratic nominees. What's going on, bro? Bam.
So, remember, we sat here and said that they're going to use Hollywood. They're going to use Kendrick Lamar, maybe. They're going to pull out all the stops. Well, come to find out, they got scared, and they're actually pulling most of the celebrities that they were going to use at the DNC, because now they said they don't want to come off as the party of the elites. They don't want to come off as the party of Hollywood anymore. Why? Because we won that information war. We have completely exposed Hollywood for being what they are: pedophile sympathizers, child rapists, and scumbags. Okay, we got the Weinsteins, the Epsteins. All of this shit has come out in the last 4 years. So that doesn't carry as much weight anymore. Having celebrities come to your rescue doesn't hold the water as once you. In fact, it hurts them, because people are starting to find out that what the hell do I have in common with someone in Hollywood?
Yep.
What do I have in common?
Jack Black lost millions in his tour.
Right. So you're going to sit there and take political advice from someone that is a millionaire, regardless of who the president is. They're still going to be a millionaire. They're still going to have a gated community. They're still going to have private security. They're still going to have all this shit. Inflation doesn't affect you if you're a billionaire. Inflation doesn't affect you if you're a millionaire, if you live in Beverly Hills. You don't give a shit about the homeless crisis. You live in a gated community. So this is what I think people are. This is the matrix that we're breaking, right? We're just really demolishing this whole thing of the celebrity, this puppetry, all of this shit, right? So they're in a really bad position because they need that, though. Who else are they going to bring out there? They're going to bring in middle-class, normal Americans? No, they hate the Democrat Party. So we just have to stay the course. We have to remind ourselves that we know where we are. We've been here before. They're going to continue to run the same fucking psyops, hoping that maybe it'll work. And now the only thing we got to watch out for is people on our own side believing the hype and dividing our movement, telling Trump he should be doing. Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Okay, he knows. And you know what? We can't peak too early, right? With this whole Kamala thing. Right now, Trump is staying back. Let them have this hype. Let them peak, right? And there's still 3 months to go. So they're going to peak this month, and then it's going to be nothing but a cliff after because we still got the debates. She still hasn't done a fucking sit-down interview with anybody, right? So all of this, they can only keep this up for so long, bro. I'm telling you, that shit is coming. The hammer's dropping. Their peak is very.
We got the influencers, we got the streamers, we got the TikTokers. Oh, it's going down.
Bro, and we're in the same position. This is why, like, people are like, "Oh my God, everything's different now that Kamala was less popular than Biden." Okay, yeah, it might rile up their base a little bit because everyone was so excited to get Biden out of there that they could put a stick man up there and they would be excited. They could literally put up a cat and they would be, yeah, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. He wants new litter. Bro, I'm telling you, man, all that shit is done. We still have the independents. We still have all of the people that are in the middle are coming our way.
In addition to the little fear-mongering thing, why the fuck would Kamala Harris say, when I win presidency, when I become the president of the United States, I will make inflation go down? Bitch, you're the vice president today. Why can't you just change that now? Tell Biden. Why don't you change the prices and then come back and say, "Hey guys, this is what it did. Vote for me." What the fuck, fool?
It's so funny now that she's trying to distance herself from Biden and from Bidenomics. She really is. Like, she's trying to pretend like she wasn't part of that. Like, she was actually the tying vote on a lot of those bills because the Senate was 50-50 and the vice president is the tie-breaking vote when it's 50-50. So the Infrastructure Act, she was the tie-breaking vote. That caused inflation. The Inflation Reduction Act, that actually caused inflation, she voted for that. She was the final nail in the coffin for that. So all of this shit is talk. And Tim Walz, what a horrible vice president pick. The fact that she picked him tells me that number one, he wasn't supposed to be.
He's such a clown. I'm a clown. I'm a clown. Fuck around. He's a clown, dog.
Nobody wants to run with Kamala against Trump. That's what this is. It was supposed to be Shapiro. He was the guy, but then he saw the writing on the wall. Would you want to attach your horse to Kamala going up against Trump right now? My man just
legacy-wise, you're fucked.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. So this is what I'm saying with the fake hype, the fake polls. It's man versus machine. David versus Goliath. I got the slingshot right here, bro. We got this.
That's right. Make sure you check them out, ladies and gentlemen, on Flashy_News1 on Instagram. You can also find them on Paranoid Radio Podcast, ParanoidRadio.com. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as we enjoy doing it. That's right. Flash, you fucking rocked it, big dog.
Let's go, baby.
Paranoid Radio.